there's one other thing that I'm debating whether or not we should bring up. We've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes. It's the end of the podcast. Let's do it. And I say this as someone who, I'm not saying this out of nowhere. I wonder what this says about Frank Ntilikina's future with the team.
I was kind of thinking that too a little bit around with the Burks signing. Not that I felt like it was significant enough to push him out, but between Burks, Bullock, clearly with Payton and with Rivers, and still having Dennis Smith Jr. on the roster,
who they apparently want to, give it a go
for better or for worse. To whoever's the one,
better or worse, death to us part.
That right? There's clearly not an opening at the point, and you have other options available to you on the wings. And I think if you're the Knicks, what you're probably looking at is Frank Ntilikina can give us value, but we also know that in a year he's going to have a really high cap hold, and you can reduce the cap hold. Obviously, you can sign him to a contract. You could just say goodbye and wipe that away. But I'm starting to wonder if there is a path for him on this team long term. And thought about this beforehand, obviously, but just more of a narrowing of that gap. And if it means that there is a team that might be interested in him, that might use him, or how you're going to go about that, I'm really not sure now. But I do agree. I think that the idea of him being on this team long term is probably a lot less as of right now than it was, say, 15 minutes ago.
Well, at
least to public knowledge.
We're going to close it out with this rotation. Tibbs, say one thing for Tibbs. He runs a pretty tight 10-man unit. He's not someone that really likes to fuck around. He likes to be steady and stable and like kind of have that thing. So I'm not even thinking about positions right now. I'm just thinking about guys that are going to play for sure. So we got Mitchell Robinson, we got Noel, we got Toppin. I'm going to put Randall to the side for right now. I'm going to do what a lot of Knicks fans would like to do and just kind of move Julius Randle over to the side. We got Obi Toppin. Everything I've heard, literally everything I've heard. And again, maybe the reason I've heard it is because they want people to believe it and to build up like this allure. But everything I've heard is that they don't want to give up on Kevin Knox, and they're in on Kevin Knox, and they believe in him. And I might not believe it if it wasn't for the fact that they just hired Kenny Payne. So I'm putting in Knox as a guy who's going to play some minutes.
Yeah, that's fair.
This year. So that's 4. So you got RJ Barrett. You got the aforementioned Rivers, who, I mean, you could tell me Austin Rivers is going to lead them in minutes this year, and I wouldn't be surprised. That he's good. He's just a good basketball player, and you want him on the floor. RJ Barrett, Rivers, Payton, he's going to play. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Mitch, Noel, Toppin, Knox, RJ, Rivers, Payton. They got Bullock still. If he's here and he's healthy, he's going to play, right? Who am I forgetting? DSJ so there's DSJ, which is not an automatic, right?
Did you say Brazdeikis?
Oh my God. You know who I didn't say Braz. I'm not saying Brazdeikis because that's not an automatic. No. I can't believe I'm forgetting, what's his face? Burks. So Burks, DSJ. That to me, that's the 10. Mitch, Noel, Toppin, Knox, RJ, Rivers, Payton, Bullock, Burks, DSJ. If I had to guess right now what 10 men were up on their big board, I would guess those 10, which then leaves the question of, all right, what the hell do you do with Randall? I don't know. I can't say for sure whether they have a deal lined up. I certainly have not heard as much. I know that he's been talked about. I don't know. Where is the Randall and Frank for, where is that? I'm not sure. Man, Charlotte's interesting to me. They just got that Batum. They have to. now there's
They
conflicting
just signed
reports.
Bismack Biyombo, though.
Okay, fine.
Does-
But they have the Batum salary, which again was originally reported was going to be stretched, and now there's some backtracking on that with the thinking that maybe they're trying to work out a sign and trade or whatever the case may be with Boston. Can they dump Batum's salary? Like they only need to save $7 point something million, right? Well, but assuming Biyombo gets the minimum, which I'm assuming he did. So Batum and like filler, like they must have a small salary somewhere in there for Randall.
This was a much more realistic, I thought, suggestion than the Conley one, in terms of the Knicks being able to get in on the sign and trade for Gordon Hayward. And I believe what I had was Batum and Monk and the Hornets, first round pick.
Yeah.
And then Randall going to Boston, and then Boston trading Gordon Hayward. And the reason why, if you're the Celtics, you do this is, one, you could get nothing, and that's not really going to help you. You should get something out of it. It's the same reason why they let Terry Rozier walk and why they took on Kemba Walker. And in that sign and trade last year between the same two teams. But the other thing is that if you take on Randall, sure, you just had Tristan Thompson, so you're less likely as of right now than when I certainly hypothesize that as an option, but you also get a TPE. You get a significant trade player exception.
You do.
And you could get a player for, if we're just trying to do the math quickly, it could be at least 13 million, 16 million. It depends in terms of how much is going out. So
no.
I'd have to look a little bit.
If Hayward's signing for 30 and Randall's making 19,
right.
19 next year, 18.9. You're looking at around $11 million.
Right.
It's not nothing. There's a deal there to be had. There's got to be a deal there to be had. I'm not saying listen, anybody, I don't know if we get aggregated, but anybody listening to this, I'm not like sitting here saying like Randall's going to be off the team, but it would, at this point, I feel comfortable saying that it would surprise me if he was here. Just with
the writing is on the wall. It just has to be. The moves that they're making are a clear indication that the biggest salary possible is going to get moved in some capacity.